Hi guys, Will Terry here, and in this video I'm going to show you a strategy to keep your promotional emails from going in Google or Gmail's promotions folder. But before I get going on that, I want to do a little housekeeping. This video is part of a series that I've called How I'm going to Make $50,000 on this book right here, Pickleball Paul. And this is video number 17 in the series, so there's a lot that I've shared so far on the project. So if you don't know what I'm doing, you might want to go back and watch those videos. I'm sharing everything from my costs to the profits, the wins and losses. I'm going to share everything, all of my marketing plans, just anything that I can think of, I share on these videos. And so if you go back and look at the titles, you can see what I've done thus far. And so let's dive into it. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say is at the end of this video, I'll answer questions from the previous week's video. And so people in the comments, if you have a question on any part of this project, you can go ahead and put it down there, and I will try to get to as many of those as I can. This week I have 4 questions that I'm going to answer, and yeah, so let's get going. So I've just got out Photoshop here, and I'm going to show you like what I'm trying to do right now is get ready for a pre-launch of my website. Okay, so I haven't shown you guys the website yet. I will make a whole video just on that website. But right now I want to show you what I'm going to be doing in the next couple weeks as far as a pre-launch goes, okay? So in doing so, I'm going to first show you the website as it looks right now. And it's if you went to pickleball-paul, you can see that up here, .com, and type that in, you're going to come to a site that looks really boring right now, because it's password protected. So the site's actually there. It's fully functional, but I have not unlocked it yet because I haven't launched the book. I don't even have the hardcovers yet. They're coming in a couple weeks. So, and I just got some good and bad news today from my print broker that they were scheduled to arrive in LA on the 9th of March. Today is the 6th of March, 2023. And now they're not going to get there until the 13th. So I got to wait 4 extra days, which is, you know how it is when you're doing a project like this, it just kind of kills you. But anyway, 4 days isn't the end of the world. So they'll be in LA in 4 days, and then it'll take a week or 2 to drive them out here to Phoenix where I live. So I'm showing you this because if you want to see the emails that I'm going to be showing you, you can sign up, enter your email right here, and you can be receiving the emails that I'm going to be showing you right now. So you don't have to do that. If you don't want to get caught in my email web, then you don't. But if you want to see the strategy that I'm using and how I'm going to be replying and stuff like that, you might want to put your email in there and actually get those emails to see what I'm doing. So in the pre-launch email campaign, what I'm trying to do is generate some hype, okay? Get people excited about this new thing that's coming, my book, right? Now, a lot of the people on my email list are people that really care about the books that I've done in the past and anything that I do artwork-wise. There's some people that I have on my list that'll buy anything and everything that I do. Those people are probably number in the 200 to 400, 500 category. With a pickleball book like this, that might, I'm assuming that'll go lower. That might go a little bit lower because they might be afraid like, well, I don't play pickleball. I'm not into that. And so maybe I've only got a couple hundred people that will buy from this email campaign just because it's a pickleball book. But that's 200 sales that I can get just by sending out some emails. Then I have a few other lists that I'm going to send to as well. And there's people online that I'm going to try to get signed up on the email list that I just showed you. And so the numbers will be quite a bit higher because I'm in some pickleball groups and stuff that I will put on that email list as well that'll be getting these emails. But as far as people that have, maybe they bought What They Don't Teach in Art School, or they bought some of my children's books, probably a few hundred people there, I'm guessing, will be interested in buying this book. So the problem with the promotions folder, or the way that Google works, and it's actually not a problem, it's a good thing. They insulate us from all the junk mail, right? So if you use Google, Gmail, then you'll notice you have, and some people don't even know this, And but if you look at the top, I'm not going to show you mine because I've got all the. If I bring mine up, all the emails will show. But basically, at the top, look at the top tabs. Right there's your inbox, and then there's promotions folder tab, and then further to the right, there's the social tab. Right, where those are the two tabs. I had a friend that didn't even know they existed because he just goes to his inbox. Right. And so Google's like, well, if someone's just sending you a junk spam email, we'll put it in the promotions folder. That way, yeah, it's the junk folder, right? If they want it, they'll go in there and dig it out of there and find it. And if not, then we're giving them a product that is better for them because their inbox isn't clogged up with all these junk mails that I'm about to show you how I'm sending out junk mail, right? But the people that I'm going to be sending this to have already opted in. Okay, so that's very important. They've opted in. I am going to be using a program called Klaviyo. I'll probably show you that back end in another video, not in this one. It's a lot like MailChimp, but it's better in a lot of ways. It's easier to. It's just I don't want to go into all the reasons why it's better. But MailChimp's good too. And so I'm going to be using a program like that. That'll also show up on my expense list when I update the expenses for this campaign. One other thing I want to tell you is I'm fighting a cold right now, so my voice is a little raspy, and I apologize for that. But I'm on the downhill slide of that. So let me show you I'm going to send out 5 emails, and I'm going to show you what these are. Okay, and so the first one, email number 1, and I'm not giving you the full verbiage. This is, without me, I don't want to show you the whole email that I've written. They're pretty short. They're pretty to the point. And basically, they are going to go like this. Again, if you sign up, you will see the full emails, okay? So, and this is something that you could use when you're launching your own book. So be thinking about this, right? So I say in the first email, there's something huge is about to happen, okay? So something huge is about to happen, and I didn't write it in here, but if you're interested in this new announcement that I have coming up, reply with the word early in quotes, right? And then I will put you on the list of people that are going to be able to get the next email, the information that's coming out, basically, okay? And then so the key here, and this is not my idea. This is kind of an idea of how to get around some of the Google filters, is the people that are kind of interested in what I have coming next that hit early, that even see this email, will hit reply, and all they have to do is type early. So there's hardly any commitment on their level. But by doing that, they show Google that I sent them something that was valuable enough for them to reply to. Then the next email that I send out, and I will actually hand reply a copy paste to each one of the emails, the people that replies back to me. So it's going to be time consuming on my end. I'm going to just go through each one and copy paste. Thanks, I got you on my list now. You're good to go. Look for future emails, something like that. The next one gives a little more information. It's a new book, and I'm signing for a 24-hour period. I'm going to be hand signing these books. And I'll probably say something in there about how this is the only time you can get a signed copy of my book, okay? So this is just for this 24-hour period. And if you're interested in that, right, then reply with the word signed, okay, in quotes, something like that. And what that does is now some of the same people will reply again with the word signed, and it will also tell Google that for my future email, so from the first one to the second one, they'll actually put that email, the second email number 2, in more inboxes instead of in the promotions folder, because I got all those replies on email number 1. And the same thing for number 3. The list will grow of people that are replying because Google's going to give it to more people. The third one says, it's my first self-published children's book, and it's called Pickleball Paul. And so if you're interested in the launch date where we're going to launch and sign these books, reply with the word Paul. So that'll be email number 3. And then the fourth one is, okay, great, you're now on the VIP list. The site is locked. So that's what you saw, right? This is the site being locked down. You can see there's a password that you need to get in right up here. And so they realize, like, I can't even buy this thing right now. The site's locked down right now, but it's going to open tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And Pacific time. And I will be providing you in tomorrow's email with the link and the password, and the site will remain locked for 24 hours. So there's a 24-hour period where you can get a signed copy, and after that, you cannot. And so you kind of create a limited supply of something, which it really is. I can't sign all 5,000 books. I'm hoping I don't even sign 1,000 books. I mean, it would be nice to sell 1,000 books, but I don't really want to sign that many. So, but it's a limited quantity, and that's what's really important here. And then the fifth email is the morning of. The site is now live, only for you, a VIP member. Get your signed copy. Use this website. I give them the website, pickleball-paul.com, which you already have. And this password, I'll give them a password to get in the site. Then use this discount code to get 10% off. So that all that information will be there. They can go in. They have 24 hours to go in there and reserve a signed copy of the book. But more importantly, this is a way to, I will use social media prior to these emails going out to share the locked site where people can put in their email and get on the list. And I'll kind of do the same thing on social media at the same time, as to be trying to get people into that system so that when all my emails go out, they'll hit the people that were interested on my social media accounts as well. And I've already been told by some of you guys that follow me here on YouTube that you've already signed up, that you've already, because I mentioned, the site before on the videos, pickleball-paul.com. And when I talked about, I think it was on one of the earlier videos when I talked about how I couldn't get Pickleball Paul because somebody already had it, an Instagram handle, and had already locked that site down. So I've got Pickleball-Paul, which in some ways I think is better. I'd love to know what you guys think, but because I think it might be better in that you can see what you've spelled in pickleball, because there's a lot of letters there, and that dash gives a space for the Paul. Sometimes when everything is crammed together, it's hard to tell what you're actually looking at. So that is the idea for staying out of the Google Promotions folder. If you send out spam emails, it's estimated that only 10 or 20% even get opened. And that's because Google doesn't even they don't put all of them, not even close. They put 10 or 20% in people's folders. And then out of that, even smaller percentage open them. So it's very low, but this is a way to get your open rate up higher, and also to get into more inboxes. And again, we're only sending to people who have already opted in to my list from other, looking to get other promotions from me. And I hardly ever use this list. So people are going to see something from me, and it's going to be very, very rare. I am one of those people that hates when people send you an email every week. And you look in your promotions folder, and then you find out they've been sending you an email every day. And I think that's insane. I only send out emails when I have something actually important to say, and I do not sell the list or anything like that. So I will only be doing emails when there's something new, a new product on my site, and the next book, if I end up actually doing the puzzle, things like that. And so that is that. I do want to mention really quick that if you are an illustrator looking to up your skills, we have the site for you. I started svslearn.com with Jake Parker and Lee White about 10 years ago, and it has really grown. It has blown me away at how many people we have helped learn how to illustrate not only children's books, but graphic novels and comics and things like that. So the subscription is very cheap especially compared to an online school, compared to a brick and mortar school. And all of us taught at universities, all of us taught illustration. and we share our knowledge on basically how to get into this business, how to do it. We also have Children's Book Pro, so check out those things. And now let's get on to reading these emails. Got some good ones this time around. Point and Shoot Video actually didn't ask a question, but I thought I would answer to one of the comments here. And some really nice comments on that that I'm not going to read, but also said, I just went to your website and didn't see anything about Pickleball Paul. Yes, you haven't yet, because that's going to be part of my launch as well. I'm working with a web developer that is going to help me get a redirect page in front of my site to lead into the pickleball-paul.com site. So if people want to go and check out the book, they'll see it there. But I'm trying to do it, coordinate everything so it's all part of the launch. So it's all, the timing is right and everything. So the people like that, you guys that are on YouTube know, you're knowing about this before anybody on Facebook or on Instagram or on anything else. I'm sharing everything here on YouTube because I want you guys to be able to follow, hopefully, if this is successful, in my footsteps, and be able to have videos to go through to follow along the process of how do you launch a self-published book and do really well with it, not just get it out there and have it, a garage full of books, but to actually be able to move the books and get them out into people's hands. So then this one is from Matt Studio. Do you have any thoughts or opinions about children's books made using non-traditional art? My medium is needle felted wool, which is sculptural, textural in nature. And I have an idea for a story that I hope to self-publish. In your experience, is there any demand for books illustrated in out-of-the-box ways? Yes, there. In my opinion, there are. There are not that many, and I tend to think the reason for this is we're mostly conventional people. It's funny, we're creative people when it comes to our ideas, our stories, and the marks we make on paper, the drawings that we make. But then when we want to make those drawings, we want to go to an art store and buy something off the shelf that we can just come home and express ourselves with. Coming up with your own medium, like this needle felted wool, is not something typical that most artists want to do. So if you go to Red Nose Studio, this guy, and I think they have a team of people working for him now, but I remember when this guy started out, and these were all sculpture, they're basically sculptures. The backgrounds are a combination of mediums and stuff, and it's just such cool looking illustration, and just very unexpected, very different, and the guy has just taken off. So this would be somebody that I would really study and find out more about, like, how this person became really successful. Because, man, every time I come back to the site, there's like tons more work that has been done commercially, and it's just amazing stuff. So yeah, I think that if in the end, now one of the things that I've seen happen when people try to work in 3D, and I mean like in the physical 3D world, is they make compromises that don't work story-wise. Because they don't have a control of the medium, they make allowances, or they overlook problem areas. I wish I had some good examples to show you, but like, you still have to communicate. You have to do everything that you would do with traditional mediums, with a pencil or a pen. You've got to be able to communicate. If you're communicating, if a kid is supposed to be cute, and because of the medium, it's ugly, then you're going to have an ugly kid that's done in this needle felted wool style. And so if the requirement of the illustration requires cute, you've got to be able to control that medium and make it cute. Well, that's my basic advice to you there. This is another artist that I really love, Pauly Bernatene, and so his stuff is both. It's a combination of real life, real illustration and set design. Like this set actually exists, and then he's illustrating in Photoshop on top of a photograph of a set. So there's all kinds of ways that you can, use natural lighting and Photoshop and, found objects or manufactured objects to make really fun 3D looking work and real actual natural lighting situations. Okay, so the next one is from Jess. I think it's, or Jeshua. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for making this video series. Are you going to do a Kickstarter? And if you are, could you talk about how you came up with the ideas for your Kickstarter rewards? So I'm not doing a Kickstarter on this project. The reason is I just don't think that I can find enough pickleball enthusiasts on Kickstarter to make it worth the time to set up and run a Kickstarter. I could do it on Kickstarter, and I would raise money on Kickstarter. I just don't think I would raise enough to make it worth the time to do the Kickstarter. Now that is a man, I can't come up with the words today. It's a prediction. I could be wrong. Maybe there are a lot of pickleball people on Kickstarter, but I just don't think there are. And a lot of the people that we're going to be selling to are older, and they're definitely not on Kickstarter. And so I just felt like this project was wrong for it. So I do have a book on my willterry.com site that you might be interested in, and it's called The Complete Kickstarter Playbook that I wrote. And so if you go to my store, you can find it there. I think we have a few dozen copies left from the Kickstarter, and that is a checklist book on how to run your Kickstarter. And I do talk about coming up with rewards in that book. Okay, and then the last question here is from Sarah. And this one, a lot of great compliments. Thank you for all of that in the beginning. I'm going to read your question now, which is, for you, since we're similar in age, do you plan to retire from illustration, or is this something you want to continue doing for the rest of your life, and why? Is ageism a problem in this industry? Am I too old to break into the business? FYI, I do realize I can self-publish as you're doing with Pickleball Paul, so I'm referring more to traditional publishing and agents. Okay, so no, I don't ever plan on retiring. I actually look at some of the people, because I live in a retirement community right now, and I barely was old enough to move in here. So we're like the youngest people in here, and like a lot of the people here go, "You're the same age as my kids." So I get that a lot. They sit around, a lot of them, and tell the same stories every day, and have the same drinks at the same time every day, and and there's a lot of happy people here, but I don't think I just can't envision myself being happy doing nothing. A lot of people, I love finding out what people do. So whenever I'm around other people, I ask them what they did. When I'm down playing pickleball, I ask these people what they do in their regular life. And most had jobs that they were just so happy to retire from. And they don't do anything with that job anymore. They were an accountant, or they were a school teacher, or, whatever. They worked in a grocery store, and the job ended when they retired, and they don't do it anymore. I can't see myself ever getting tired of telling stories with pictures and words. And so, no, I don't ever plan on retiring, which is nice because that means I'll always have an income. And as I've talked about in these videos, part of why I'm doing Pickleball Paul is really to beef up my retirement. And so it's actually comforting to know that I will always enjoy doing this kind of work, and always enjoy doing something that will actually bring in money. Now, as far as like what you really want to know is there ageism in the children's book industry? No, there isn't. Especially knowing that well, maybe it's a mixture. Maybe there is and there isn't. So if you're already established, then no. If you're already a big name, it's easy for people to work until they die, right? And you think about, Mari Sendak, worked from what I know up until he died. And there's a lot of illustrators like that in that realm. But the question that you're probably asking is, would there be ageism as far as getting into the business as an older person? I don't think there really would be in that. I do know a lot of authors whose first books were published well into their 50s and 60s. So I do know people like that. What these, the things, and I plan on making a video about this in the future, what they really want you to be doing is they're not interested in publishing a book from someone who's like, here's my book, I wrote it, that's the book that I wrote. They want you to be a writer where you're a fountain of ideas, and you're writing constantly. And so if you show that you're writing and / or illustrating, right? So you're illustrating and you've got lots of illustrations and you've got, lots of ideas and you're working on your portfolio, then there's no reason for them to not want to work with you just because you're in your 50s, 60s, or even 70s or 80s. I mean, they want to publish good books, and they know that people live a long time, and they know that it's really about the idea, it's really about the project, and if it's right for them. So yeah, I mean, the short answer is I don't see there being any ageism in the industry. And then the only way that there could be, where you could put it under that category of ageism, is if you're not working digitally and you're not really well versed in like how to send files and receive files, and how to send your layers in Photoshop and the ins and outs of those kinds of things. If you're trying to work with a publisher, let's say it's an educational publisher publishing textbooks, they almost always want to work with somebody who can work in Photoshop, and or maybe even Procreate. You're working on your iPad. But if you are working traditionally, a lot of them do not want to receive traditional artwork that they then have to scan, number one, and number two, that they have to take care of and protect and not let anything happen to, or you're going to charge them for damaged or lost or stolen artwork. So they would rather work with someone who can work digitally. I was talking about that on another video or on our podcast, and some people were chiming in going, my publisher doesn't mind working with me traditionally. Yeah, there definitely are publishers that will work with people that work traditionally, but by and large, the industry has shifted mostly to digital. So if you want, it's like anything. If you want to make yourself the most marketable, then you're going to work digitally. If you are willing to, if your work is amazing and you only work traditionally, and you're like, all I can do is send you my artwork and you're going to take care of it and shoot it. If it's the most amazing artwork that anyone has ever seen in their life, then yeah, they'll probably figure out a way to work with you. But a lot of the art directors that are coming in today, they don't even know how to send artwork out to get it shot in a 3x5 transparency, how to get it shot that way or digitally with a digital camera. I mean, and we're talking high-end digital and having the right lights to cancel out the noise. And so, a lot of people just don't know how to do that stuff, and they will just take the easy route and work with someone digitally. My voice is almost shot, as you guys could probably tell. So I'm done with this video. But put your questions in the comments for the next video, and I'll see you on that one.